Root, root, root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in to 1991 Maxx Race Cards packs for breakfast. We've got the old 91 race cars here, the Winston Cup, Dale Earnhardt. Should be a fun show today. We got some crew chiefs to get into today.
Oh, not to mention some gas can men and tire changers and mechanics. You know, I wonder if there'll actually be any drivers in this.
Oh, I'm guessing we'll run across a few, but based off the couple I did, yes, we will see some no-name people today.
We're going to see a lot of people, and it's like you would have had to have been a super diehard in 1991 to see these guys. Thing is, this will probably be based off of the 1990 season, which means that was Dale Earnhardt's 4th championship. And he actually won also in 91. So this is the year also he won his 5th.
Yeah, in 1991 he won his 5th, and I didn't think about that. I was looking back at the 91 season, and they had put some new rules into effect in 91.
Like what kind of new rules were in effect?
Well, they put in a speed limit on pit road.
Oh, the speed limit.
Because one of the guys got killed on pit road, so they had implemented the speed limit to keep that from happening again.
They already had the restrictor plates on, right? The restrictor plates were on the cars by this time.
That I don't.
Because I think it was Allison's crash in like 85 or 86 or something that made them put restrictor plates on the cars. Because I think his crash was in the Regal. Might have been 88. Because it wasn't in the LeSabre. Because the LeSabre was around for 2 years, like 86 and 87. And I could have swore it might not have been. It might have been the LeSabre, because I'm trying to remember if it was his gold car that did it or if it was his red and white car. They were both Miller cars, but I remember that's what started the whole thing of, because it went into the catch fence and people got hurt in the stands, and they said, we got to keep these cars on the ground.
It was 88.
It was 88?
Yep.
So it would have been the Regal. No, it would have been the LeSabre, because 88 is when they implemented it. So it would have been the LeSabre that went up into the stands. But 88 would have been the Regal. I think that was also his gold Miller High Life car, which I think he won the Daytona 500 in 88 or 89, one of the two, with Davey trailing him.
Well, we've got a few packs to get through today. Interestingly enough, the 1991 Maxx race cards were not expensive.
You don't say.
Should be fun to see what kind of cards we can pull out of here. But if you're looking to get an old pack or an old box of cards for relatively cheap, I would recommend 91 NASCAR.
Yeah, let's see what we're getting. Let's see what the first card is on these packs on the Sunday show here.
What's your guess, Randy? What's our first card gonna be?
I'm gonna say we get a broadcaster.
It is like opening the couple packs. Oh no, we got a race card. They did have these. This isn't actually our first card, but they had these little scratch off games to do, and you could qualify to win a trip to Charlotte Motor Speedway.
I've driven past Charlotte Motor Speedway, but I have never seen it, or I've never been inside of it.
And first off, we got Todd Bodine.
Not have guessed Todd Bodine would have been our first.
Nope.
Probably the second best of the Bodine brothers. I'd say Brett is probably, because Todd Bodine had a lot of success in the trucks once he stuck to them full time. But oddly enough, in 1990 and 91, the truck series was still not invented.
And we got ourselves an all-pro, like a tire man.
Actually, I think Daryl Andrews might have been a crew chief. Does it say on the back of their cards?
Let's see.
Nope, you're right. He's a tire carrier.
Yep. Then we got James Luter. Looks like a all-pro engine machinist. Correct?
Here's the thing. Can you imagine being just some guy, you work in the machine shop at your race team, and they came in and said, I need to take a picture of you because we're going to put you on a trading card.
Well, it's funny.
I mean, that's
funny how we got engine builder, we got engine machinist. I mean, kind of funny that they put all these different people into this set.
And the legendary Kurt Shelberdine was around for a lot of Earnhardts championships.
Crew chief Jimmy Fenig. Ward Burton. Finally a driver.
Before he drove the Caterpillar car.
Bill Venturini, driver.
Yep, ARCA racer primarily.
Got memorable moments. 19 picture of
every car going onto pit road. I'm sure there's a story behind that, but
like we got the 1990 Pocono winner.
Handsome Harry Gant. I love that Skoll car. Hey, there's Dale. I wonder if that's his daughter Kelly.
There's the goat.
It's like, there he is right there.
Dale's gonna go up on the board. We don't have a board.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have a board this week, but he deserves to go.
Is that supposed to be Derek Cope?
Can't tell.
Does it say on the back of the card?
Let's see.
Oh, it's Chuck Bound.
Yeah. We got Mr. Robert Presley.
You know, he was a driver that basically stayed to the Busch Grand National Series for the most part. Had some decent success there.
Got Purolator car. Turn.
That would be Derek Cope.
That's Derek Cope, and then Michael Waltrip was behind.
I'm just like, really? The guy that holds the stop sign at the end of pit road?
Yeah.
I bet you that isn't even his real name. They're probably going, who is this guy? I don't know. Just call him Jimmy Cox.
Yeah. Hey, he was a Hall of Famer.
It's like, oh, you gotta love these cards, man. You gotta love it when you sit there and that's how you're gonna know that back in 1990 there was a guy stopping people at the end of pit road named Jimmy Cox.
Yeah, Raymond Beadle, owner.
He was the legendary owner, I think, of the Blue Mats, but I don't remember what Raymond Beadle owned in NASCAR.
Let's see. Rusty Wallace was one of his.
Oh,
drivers.
okay. Now I know what card, like the number 27, probably the number that would have been Rusty's Kodiak Pontiac.
And you got Chuck Ryder here. He's a who did he? Doesn't say who he had on his team. He was an owner. Oh, this is a good.
Another owner, Billy Hagan, got the
Hey,
good hat.
huh? Doesn't say who their racers were. Don't, I don't really.
Yeah, tell me who your drivers were that in 1990. Jimmy Makar was a good crew chief.
The Miller.
So that'd have been probably Rusty Wallace at the time. No,
Yep.
I thought Rusty was still driving the. I could have swore Rusty was still driving the Kodiak car.
He was with Rusty in that.
Yeah, I mean that's the Miller Genuine Draft. Then he was driving at the time. That was a cool looking car. It was beautiful.
Got Ken Bouchard.
I think he has like one career win. There's another guy with like one career win.
Big Sacks.
He was a rich boy. His daddy had money and put him in race cars. He wasn't a bad race car driver, but he definitely is not great or really that, There's a legendary crew chief, though.
Harry Hyde.
Yep. The guy from Days of Thunder was based off of Harry Hyde.
Larry McReynolds. So we got a nice run of crew chiefs going on.
Yeah. Future crew chief of Dale Earnhardt.
Tim Brewer.
Another crew chief.
Budweiser Racing.
Not a future crew chief of Dale Earnhardt's.
We got Bobby Hillen.
Another one-time win guy. Won at Talladega, and that was his only career win.
We got a checklist.
Always good to have a checklist.
It's so funny too because I think I never opened a pack of race cards, but I think it's funny that you would buy a pack of race cards and get essentially nothing but people you didn't really want to see.
Yeah.
Bobby
I don't
Donner.
know. Maybe these cards were aimed at people that they knew everybody. I don't know. That seems like a small percentage.
You got sportscaster Benny Parsons, worked for ESPN.
Also won the Winston Cup championship back in, I think, 73. I think is when he won his championship.
Yep, 1973. Yeah, Ned Jarrett.
To me, he was one of the best broadcasters. I mean, I love listening to Ned Jarrett. He knew so much about the sport, had a great way of talking about it. He was always one of my favorites.
He won the championship in 61 and 65.
Oh, yeah. He's also a NASCAR Hall of Famer.
And Dick Brooks to that one out.
Way to go, Dickie Brooks.
We got one driver in that whole pack. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, I think it was Bobby Dotter.
If you count the two broadcasters who both had championships, maybe you could call that.
Yeah, 3.
And we're repeating already. Raymond Beadle.
Right, we've already seen you.
Up, Chuck Ryder. Billy Hagan. Oh man. We've already seen this pack. That's not a good.
It's like we have seen this exact pack.
Sex, Harry Hyde. Did we already cycle through all the cards or what?
It's like, yeah, we've gone through every card they did in 91.
Another checklist. Bobby Dotter. Parsons. Nick Garrett. Dick Brooks. Boy, that was just...
It was the same pack as the previous pack. Exactly. People are going to sit there and go, did I get a glitch? Is it just cycling through the same pack over and over again?
All right. We got Bob Whitcomb, owner. It doesn't say who was the team. It does say that the color green is considered unlucky in racing.
And Harry Gant did pretty well with it. Well, the Quaker State Buick didn't do great with it. I mean, but they never had a great driver. Ricky Rudd was probably their best driver that was in the 26.
Well,
But that was Benny Bernstein's team.
Bobby Labonte would eventually drive a green.
Yeah, he would drive the Interstate number 18 and win. I think he won a championship in that.
Got Phil Barkdahl. Another driver. Looks like he went for the good. No, I can't tell who he's driving for.
Now, Phil Barkdahl wasn't big at that time. I mean, 91, he's a guy that would compete in maybe 10 races a year.
Yeah, he ran 14 races and had 0.
Anything.
Hey, speaking of.
NASCAR champion, future NASCAR champion Bobby Labonte.
Bobby was one of my favorites to root for.
He was very good. Him and his brother were both extremely good drivers.
You got Cale Yarborough, owner.
First guy to win 3 in a row, 3 championships in a row, and it was his only 3.
Jeff Bodine.
Rival of Earnhardts. Oh, that's when he's racing for Junior Johnson because he's got the Bud. Yeah, Jeff Bodine's an underrated driver. I didn't like him in the 80s because, of course, Dale Earnhardt didn't like him in the 80s.
Well, and he in 90, he won 3 races, took 2 poles, and finished top 10 19 times. So he was right.
Yeah, he was doing very well.
Morgan Shepherd for the
Bud.
Motorcraft.
Yep, that was the Bud Moore team. It's like Morgan has, I think, 5 or 6 career wins. These are at least some drivers. It's good to see the driver. Did you know that Morgan Shepherd kept racing into his 70s in the Busch Series, or I think it was Nationwide when he finished, but he was still racing into his 70s.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and Morgan Shepherd used to have a thing. There are videos online where it's like Morgan Shepherd would just be roller skating around the racetrack. That was his thing. He liked to roller skate. And it just looked weird for a guy in his 30s or 40s to just be roller skating around.
Sure.
But he was good at it. He was a pretty good roller skater.
You got Neil Bonnet, another driver or owner.
Yep. One of Earnhardt's best friends. They used to be hunting buddies.
Jim Bown.
Chuck Brown's brother. Oh, the Heinz 57 car. That car was always cool looking.
Got Steve Hamill. Folgers.
Steve Meal. That's when he was Mark Martin's crew chief, I think. Maybe it was. Yeah, I think it would have been Martin at the time.
Yeah, Jack Roush and Mark Martin.
But Steve Meal became like a big executive inside NASCAR. He still is, I think, to this day.
We already repeated in this pack, Chuck Bown.
No. That was the other guy was Jim Bown, his brother.
Oh, okay.
Jim and Chuck Bown.
All right. Well, we got brothers in the same pack.
Yeah. We got the Bown brothers. Nobody's clamoring for that, set.
Yeah. Jerry Punch.
Why didn't they call it? It's like he was Dr. Jerry Punch. Why didn't they put the doctor in front of it? He was actually a doctor. He was a trained physician.
Very good doctor as well. Yes.
Yeah, he was a very good pit reporter. So was he, and he's a good broadcaster to this day. Mike Choi is still doing it.
Good for him. Eli Gold.
He was awesome too. I will tell you this. These are the voices of NASCAR in this era, and they were great voices of NASCAR.
Jackaroot. He's a utility infielder, they say.
Great, put him at second.
All right, let's see here. See what kind of hey, we got Bill Elliott. Start things off.
Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. Wow, still driving the Coors Ford.
Yeah.
So he hasn't moved over to Junior Johnson yet.
Let's see, you got Jimmy Hensley.
He was okay. I mean, he was never great.
Tom Kendall.
I think Tom Kendall came out of like SCCA or IMSA or something like that. He was driving, the sports cars, and they wanted him to come over to NASCAR, and he just never did anything.
He was in IMSA. And you got Phil Parsons.
I think he has a NASCAR win.
Looking pretty fly, standing there.
He always had those sunglasses on.
Let's see. He had won one race in his career.
Yep.
You got Larry McClure, owner.
Larry McClure owned the Kodak car, the number 4.
No. Looks like he was with Delco too. Got Mike Alexander.
Mike Alexander was the driver that took over for Bobby Allison after his crash.
Mike was tabbed to replace injured Bobby Allison.
Yeah, it's weird how if I was watching, I probably know more about NASCAR than any other sport in that era.
Tommy Houston.
Very good racer at the Busch level.
Yeah, I remember Mike Beam, crew chief.
Crew chief for Bill Elliott.
Mickey Gibbs.
He sees that there's a problem, but I don't think he knows what the problem is. He goes,
he doesn't.
It feels like there should be something right here, and I'm not seeing it. But if I put the jack down, I feel like I'll know what's missing.
Rick Mast.
Rick Mast, the first pole winner. He was the first pole winner at the Brickyard 400. Rick Mast beat out Dale Earnhardt for the pole.
Ricky Rudd, I always liked him. I think maybe just his name. It was fun to say. Ricky Rudd.
He was a great road racer. He was the guy that was in the Childress car before Earnhardt. And, there's a lot of people that said, well, would Ricky Rudd have won all those championships that Earnhardt won for Childress? And, even Childress came out and said, and even some of the other crew said, Ricky Rudd was not the same kind of driver as Dale Earnhardt. We would have never won what we won if we didn't have Earnhardt. But Ricky Rudd is still a very good driver.
Well, and he was really good at road course.
Oh, yeah. Very good.
Davey Allison, there's your guy.
Yep, gone too soon.
Rodney Combs.
Another journeyman.
Gary Nelson, crew chief.
He became a big guy in the NASCAR front office too, Gary Nelson, because he broke a lot of rules because he was very creative. So they made him the guy to go and spot all the rule breakers because they figured, why not get the guy that broke a lot of rules to find the guys who break the rules.
Right.
It's like hire the criminal to catch the criminal.
And we'll finish off with Kenny Bernstein.
The legendary drag racer. It's like that was a car owner for a little while. He had Steve Kinzer drive that car. He had Ricky Rudd drive it. Brett Bodine drove it. Ricky Rudd. I'm trying to think of who else he had in that 26 car. I always liked the 26 Quaker State car because I was a big Bernstein fan. And it's like, I don't know if you ever met Lori that worked at Home Depot. She might have been gone. But she actually, she knows Kenny's wife. So, she knows Kenny.
Huh. Oh, there he is.
There's the king.
The king opening. If you were looking for a good pack to open, you get the king on the first one. There's your pack.
Yeah, it's like that's a great card to get. I mean, it's like, I didn't watch the king when he was in his prime. I wish I had, because he was, considered one of the best 200 career wins, which is just insane. Nobody will touch that ever.
Followed by Sterling Marlin.
Oh, the guy that wrecked Earnhardt.
Yeah, infamy in two ways. You got the king, and you got the unfortunate infamy.
Yeah, and I don't blame Sterling Marlin. Earnhardt was blocking, and it's like Sterling Marlin just didn't take his foot off the gas, and it's the last lap. You're not taking your foot off the gas. So, it's a racing accident. I don't blame Sterling Marlin.
Yep.
It was just, something. Earnhardt was doing what he had to do to see his cars win, and Sterling Marlin was doing what he had to do, which was, I'm not letting you back in line.
Right. Then you got the other Petty, Kyle Petty.
He had a pretty decent career. He had, I think, like 7 wins in his career, so not bad. Nowhere near as bad, but not bad.
I like his shirt, Iceman.
Yeah, I like his takes on NASCAR too. He's got a lot of good takes.
You got Barry Dodson, crew chief, MGD car.
So that should have been Rusty's car.
Perfect name for a driver. Lake Speed.
You know what? I like Lake Speed, and I liked it when he drove the Wins Kmart car. It's like, and I think that even for a little while, his car was sponsored by Little Caesars. But that would come later, I think, like in '96 or something like that. But I like Lake Speed.
He won one race. Oh.
Yep.
Junior Johnson, everybody knows.
Yep, legendary owner.
Cliff Champion, that's another.
Everybody knows him.
Excellent racing name.
Yep, everybody knows him. We all know Cliff. We don't have to say much about Cliff.
Right. Jack Pennington.
You know what? I don't remember him ever racing.
Because he did 14 and 16 races, and he ran 16. He did 0 of anything.
0 of anything. Way to go, Pennington. I know Chad Pennington, but not Jack Pennington.
Brett Bodine, Quaker State car. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
That's a serious picture.
That's a very serious picture. He's probably going, quit taking pictures of me. Seriously, stop it.
Rick Wilson, Dinnerbell, Food Lion.
You know what? I liked Rick Wilson, but he was never great. I think he almost won some races.
One of the Waltrips.
Yep. Mikey was good. Won the Daytona 500. Had a few wins once he got in the DEI cars. But at that time he was driving. He drove the Maxwell House car, but for a while he was driving for Country Time Lemonade. I always loved that car too.
Well, and he's still got Country Time on his jumpsuit right now. So I'm guessing they were still sponsors. I like the Country Time car.
It was a cool looking car.
Jeff Purvis.
So here's the funny thing about Jeff Purvis. It's like me and a buddy, we went down to the Pikes Peak Raceway down there in Fountain, Colorado, and we watched the Busch Grand National race. And we knew a lot of the Busch Grand National drivers. We could go off the numbers and say, okay, that guy is that position. But all day long, number 4 was the car that led. And Will and I could not remember, or we didn't know who that was. It wasn't until we got home and could check. It was Jeff Purvis who had just raced that race. So I'll always remember Jeff Purvis, because for the whole race, Will and I are going, who the hell is this guy?
It was him. Jeff Purvis.
It was Jeff Purvis.
There he is.
Yep, Jeff Purvis. Good job, Jeff. You won a race in Colorado. I'm proud of you.
We got Dave Marcus.
He won some races. Legendary tester for NASCAR. NASCAR always used him to test cars.
He won 5.
Yeah. No, Dave Marcus was a good driver.
Oh, and then you got Patty Moyes. Who?
So, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go. I'm sure you have something more interesting.
So Patty Moyes, she was supposed to be the next, of course, they always want to try to get a woman driver in there. But the funny part is, so I was buying die casts, 1/24th scale, and I needed a Ford Taurus, and I came across a really cool looking one for Patty Moyes. They actually made a 1/24th scale of a Patty Moyes car, so I bought it. It was only like $20. And it's a cool looking car. It really is. It's a very nice looking vehicle. But yeah, so I have a Patty Moyes 1/24th die cast in my collection.
Well, there you go.
So it's like, and I always rooted for Patty Moyes. At one point, she was sponsored by Secret Antiperspirant.
Once you got 2 top 10s, so I mean,
Hey, that's better than Danica Patrick. By the way, we will not be seeing her in these cards.
Not in these cards.
91, she was probably 12.
All right, memorable moments to start this one. We got the 42 peak racing down the back stretch there.
Kenny Wall or Kyle Petty.
Kyle Petty, yep. That was in North Carolina. What was your favorite track to watch?
Night Bristol, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
I love Night Bristol back in the 90s. Oh my God, it was such a fun track to watch.
Bristol, I never liked Bristol. Just wasn't my. I mean, it was interesting, but I just never got into it. I just didn't understand.
Well, I watched the evolution of because I've been watching Bristol the whole time, since '84. I've been watching Bristol, and it was just always the race where it was a very fast track. Everybody's beating and banging, and there was always controversy. There was always anger between drivers. And it was a fast, short track. It was a half-miler that was just fast because of its high banks. I loved it. Even though Rusty Wallace and Darrell Waltrip kind of dominated that track, Earnhardt did get his victories on there. But it was a Wallace and Waltrip track, I think, for the most part.
I really liked Watkins Glen. And Las Vegas. Well.
Really? Why Vegas? Because Vegas was considered a cookie cutter mile and a halfer.
I know. I don't know why I liked it, but I did. Of course, Talladega was good too.
Talladega was. So, do you know what crew chief that guy was of? Because I can tell you from that Alka-Seltzer sponsorship who he crew chiefed.
I don't know.
It would have been because it doesn't say on the back there, but it would have been Jimmy Smut Means.
All right.
He was an owner operator.
Lance, Ricky Pearson.
So that would have been Robert Presley.
Dave Pearson, owner.
But legendary driver, second winningest driver in NASCAR history with over 100 wins. Only other guy to get over 100, I think.
We got race number 19 at Michigan, won by the Folgers car. Let's see. Alan Kulwicki won the pole that year in that race, but Mark Martin took checkered.
And Alan Kulwicki will win the championship in 1992.
And race number 23 at Dover, Bill Elliott. And there's Earnhardt again with his kiddo. Race number 4 at Atlanta. Checker, you got Tommy Ellis for the Goo Goo car.
It was a cool looking car, but it was also a Busch Grand National car.
Yep. Dave Resendez.
He never amounted to really anything, but I think mostly was a Busch driver.
See, and these would have been my favorite cards to get in these packs. I want to see the crash cards.
So you had Sterling Marlin, looks like you had Brett Bodine, Rick Wilson, probably maybe Ernie Irvin in the 4, and Mark Martin. I have a die cast of that number 6 Folgers car.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a cool looking car.
Okay, Donnie Allison, owner. Race.
He got in a fight once.
Here's the other card you want to get in this. That's the race stoppers.
It's like, you know what? It's like if you're young and at that time, it's like, yeah, you're going, yep, that's a card I like. I don't know why I like this one so much. I don't know who those ladies are, but right now they're probably all in their 50s and 60s.
At least, yes.
Yeah.
LD Ottinger. Great guess.
He never really did that much. Good name, though. I like that. I'm sure.
And then you got the 1990 race at Martinsville.
Jeff, you make a heck of a bobsled.
And race number 27. North Carolina.
That's awesome. Alan Kulwicki, another one we lost way too soon.
That one had a lot of recaps in it. It's kind of funny. It seems like these packs, they're pretty well metered to be like, we're either going to give you drivers, we're going to give you support guys, or we're going to give you memories.
Crew chiefs. I mean, that one pack was like 10 crew chiefs.
Buddy Parrott.
Starting off with a crew chief.
But it looks like he's a gunman right now.
Yep, because some of the crew chiefs would actually get out there and change tires or be jackmen But yeah, it looks like he's going to change the front right.
Robbie Loomis.
This must be the crew chief pack.
It is the crew chief pack. I say we got Don Bierschwally.
So he actually had a kid named Eddie Bierschwell. I think that's like his kid raced. I don't remember him being a legendary owner, but I know that he had a kid that raced.
1992 race, 1990 race number 2, and Folgers car.
Martin.
Got 1990 race 21 at Darlington. Good old Dale Earnhardt up there again.
With his wife that everybody hates.
Yep.
But I will say this for Teresa Earnhardt. She was at every race. I remember every time he would be in victory lane, she was right by his side. I mean, You know, you only other saw that. I mean, maybe Darrell Waltrip's wife would always be there, but I mean, you know, for as much as people hated her, she was a huge supporter of Dale's.
I think uh, that was in the movie. I'm trying to remember which movie it was. They talked about that. Maybe it was a documentary.
Well, there was a Dale Earnhardt movie. I can't remember who it starred. I never saw it because, you know what? You're trying to play Dale Earnhardt. You're not going to nail it. I'm sorry. Dale Earnhardt is Dale Earnhardt. If I want to see Dale Earnhardt in a movie, I'll watch Stroker Ace because he was actually in that movie.
Here you go. Race 25, the Folgers car up front again. Race number.
Boy, Martin won a lot of races that year.
He did, and then he got Bristol. Speaking of, there's the 1990 Bristol race number 6, won by Allison. Billy Stavola, Snickers car.
Yep, the Stavola brothers. They own the Snickers car and Bobby Allison's car. It's like the Stavola brothers were the owner of Allison and Hillen.
Got crew chief for the T-Rex car.
Had to been Kowicki. It was before his Hooters ride. He wouldn't get the Hooters ride until I think this year or '92. I think it was '91. He got the Hooters sponsorship.
Crew chief Doug Williams.
I do not remember you.
Yep, doesn't say.
Well, it says Bud Moore, which means it would have been Morgan Shepherd's car.
This guy looks defeated at Barrier. He just looked defeated.
Doesn't he, though? He just looks like the race hasn't even started and I've lost. Yeah, I'm not going to win.
What's the point?
Why am I going out there? It's so hot today.
We got a NEMA check.
Front row Joe.
You always heard NEMA check. They were, somewhere in there.
Joe is a very good driver. Very, very fast on pole day. I don't know what he knew about how to get his car to qualify really well, but man, he couldn't make it race really well.
Yeah, when you can't put it all together like that, it kind of.
Yeah, especially when you know you're faster than everybody else for 30 seconds.
Right. Well, maybe he just always had one good lap in him.
He just said always.
All right, and we got the Winston. Charlotte.
That was, I think, wasn't that their all-star race, or was it the race that was? I think that the Winston was the all-star race.
Yep, pretty much. It was kind of like the what do they call it here? The winners only event.
Yeah. Yeah, basically the all-star. Hey, Morgan.
Well, we're seeing a few of the Earnhardt cards, so that's cool. Sometimes you go through.
Yeah, we saw a lot of Earnhardt. That's good. I like because, of course, Earnhardt was always my favorite. So, but I noticed that Dale Jr. is not in any of these pictures.
Yeah, right.
It's like there's a lot of Kelly in there, but not Dale Jr.
Jeff Burton.
I like Jeff. He's a good broadcaster, too.
He would go on to be someone I would root for occasionally. Kirk Shelmerdine.
Shelberdine. So he is the crew chief on that car, but he was also a tire changer.
They need to bring that back. Make the crew chief get his hands dirty.
He has to go over the wall and do something.
Yep.
Even if it's just scrape the bugs off the grill, you got to do something.
Mike Hill. Rear tire changer, all-pro first team. Guy was a stud.
Well, He was amazing. I mean, I think he did that like 8 years in a row. He was just the best.
Cecil Gordon looks like a general mechanic, all pro first.
Well, I wonder who was the sergeant mechanic and lieutenant commander if he was the general mechanic.
He, Bobby Moody looks like an all pro body man. So
I have a feeling if my last name was different, it would be Moody.
Let's see. We got Rod Osterlund. Deep in thought.
Deep in thought. Deep in thought. Then he was gone from the sport soon after that because I don't think he stayed much longer.
Dennis Connor, crew chief. Jeffrey Ellis, crew chief for Hendrick. Steve Grissom.
I like Steve Grissom. I did. I thought he was a good driver. He just never. I think he did get like maybe one win in his career. He was pretty good at the Busch level. Never really amounted to as much as he should at the Winston level.
I always liked Abu Garcia fishing. I liked their fishing ring, so follow that. That was like a little patch for that. Let's see, 1990 race at Dover was run by Purelator.
Derek Cope. That was Derek Cope. That must have been then. He must have won the 1990 Daytona 500. That was the one where Dale Earnhardt was leading and the car broke. That was heartbreaking to watch. As an Earnhardt fan, it's like you're going to do it, and then going into turn 3, the car just broke, and Derek Cope just goes around him and takes it.
Dick Trickle won the pole that race. And another Earnhardt Daytona. Just what you were talking about.
Yeah, but that was the Firecracker 400, I think, that he won.
Just keep putting Dale up in the middle because it belongs.
You're going to gun those things with all those Dale cards.
Oh, I don't even know how to say this guy's name. Rug?
What?
Rug?
Rug? I mean, Rug, Riker? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I've never heard of him.
Yep. Oh, no.
Pull the rug out from under Riker. I don't know. Pull the first name out.
That's a cool action shot.
That is.
Got the Jack guy running in the front there, doing tire change. What's this a moment of? There. It was Kowicki takes his second career win.
Thing is, that was a cool looking car too. That Xerox car. That was a cool looking car.
Then you got Butch Mock, owner.
It looks like he's up to something. Like he's on lookout.
Let's see.
It's like if the NASCAR officials come by, we got to stop doing what we're doing.
And ending on Elmo Langley. I don't even know what this guy. Who was this guy?
He was a legend for something. I remember hearing the name Elmo Langley all the time.
Okay, so he was a driver owner.
Okay. Yeah, they would mention the name Elmo Langley quite a bit.
Well, at least we did get some pretty decent. I mean, we got a few drivers in here. We didn't just end up with all crew chiefs.
But as many drivers, there's still a ton of them that we're missing. I mean, we didn't get like Darrell Waltrip and
got Todd Bodine
again. Is this going to be a repeat pack?
Daryl Andrews, it could be. James Luter, yep. Eddie Lanier, Delmerdine. Yep, I don't think we've seen Ward Burton yet.
Oh yeah, this is our second trip to seeing Ward Burton. Remember, I made he hadn't driven the Caterpillar car yet.
Yeah, because there's Venturini. Got the cars all on the. Yep, this is a repeat pack. Because there's our Dale card.
Yep.
That's a repeat pack. Ending on
Yeah.
the stop sign guy.
On the stop sign.
All right, we can't end on that one.
Jimmy stops instead of Jimmy Cox. You're gonna
Wait.
laugh if you open up another one of those packs.
Right? Just the same pack again. Yep, it might be. Look at that. We got the Dale card again. Folgers card. We've seen this one. Bristol, Cavola, Paul Andrews, Doug Williams. He's already lost.
Ed barrier to entry.
Nemechek, the brothers, Winston, Richard Petty, Marlin, Kyle Petty. See, that was another repeat.
Come on, new stuff.
Elmerdine, Fennig. Hey, it's Ward again.
It's like Ward says, "What, you forgot me last time? I'm going to get out here earlier."
Oh man, we're just getting the same packs over and over again. How does this happen?
Oh, it better not end on Jimmy. It
Oh,
better not end. Oh,
this
it
one's-
won't end on Jimmy.
We got Buddy, we got Loomis, Bierschwell, race number 2. Come on, all right, we got more. We can't end on that.
Wow, we gotta see a pack that we got where we haven't seen the people.
It doesn't make any sense for the amount of cards and people that are in this set. All right, Mark Stahl.
Okay, haven't seen that name yet, so that's good.
Haven't seen that. We're not going to stall out a
You know, he
champion.
never won a race, so maybe his name was because he always stalled on pit road.
We got Robin Pemberton.
Very good crew chief.
Hey, there he is.
A legend.
The legend himself, Dick Trickle. Best name ever.
You know what's funny? He used to smoke on pit road. He would be sitting on his car just smoking a cigarette.
He's going to go up on the board. Because he's... Then we got Bud Moore.
Legendary owner.
Ken Schrader.
I like Ken Schrader. Ken Schrader was one of my favorite drivers too.
Nice that we got an... There he is. Rusty.
There's Rusty.
This is a good pack. All right.
It is a good pack. Oh, look at that. Another great one.
Yep, cool.
2 champions in a row.
Oh, look at that. He's acting. This is him in a tense role on him.
Jeff Hammond in the new movie, What's Under the Hood?
Let's see. Pit Crew race. Pit Crew champion. Car.
It's a nice looking car.
Oh my gosh. This is my favorite card so far.
JD just smoking a stogie inside the car.
With the goggles to keep the smoke out of his eyes.
That's awesome. What a picture.
What a picture. That's going up on the board too. I can't let that one go.
That's a great picture. You can't have that picture in sports anymore. That's so good.
Buddy Baker.
Legendary driver.
Hey, there's Terry.
Texas Terry, 2-time champion.
This is a good pack, man.
It is a good pack. That's 3 championship drivers we've had in this pack.
Well, and Terry, when he was winning his championships was real popular, but I always stuck with Bobby.
Thing is, he won a championship in like 84, I want to say, and then he won his next championship all the way in 96.
Yeah, and then a few years later, but it was probably 2001, 2002. One of the best races I've ever seen was between Jimmy Johnson and Bobby Labonte it was the Coca-Cola 600. And it went down to the last 50 feet of that race. 600 laps, and I mean it was just a shootout to the end, and Jimmy Johnson took it by like an inch, but it was a great race, just wonderful to watch.
Yeah, when you race for that long and it comes down to inches, I mean that's an amazingly close race.
Like, of course, I was going for rooting for Bobby, but of course Jimmy won because he always won.
Yeah, especially in that era.
Ah, Childress, there we go. What a good pack. See, this is the pack you'd want to get.
Yep, absolutely. And that's, I mean, legendary owner for Dale Earnhardt.
And then we end on Harry Gant.
Yeah, I mean that was a great pack. That was a great one more pack. I mean that's one that you're super happy with. So many good drivers and owners, and I mean just what an incredible pack that was.
So now we got to do, like, I already pulled out this one, so we're gonna do this pack here and just see what. Let's see how if we can repeat again.
Not to mention the best card is still that JD McDuffie.
Oh, guaranteed. I should probably send that one in to get graded, don't you think?
Oh, I would think so. I would do it.
All right, we got Bristol. Looks like the Kodak team won.
Is that Rick Wilson or Ernie Irvan? I can't see the driver. Oh, it was Ernie Irvan. Ernie Irvan won that because he's right there in the middle next to the trophy
Nope.
with the not the black hat, but one of the mini red hats.
Yeah, with the mustache.
Yep, it's like, oh wait a minute, why is that guy wearing a black hat?
And race number 24 at Martinsville.
So that means Bodine swept the Martinsville races that year.
There's Dale for the Arlington race. No, he not one. Then you got Randy Baker.
Oh, I do not remember that guy.
Only Richard Petty and Bobby Allison have more career starts than Buddy Baker.
Yeah, but this is Randy Baker.
I know, it's not even Buddy.
They're not even talking about Randy Baker. They're talking about Buddy. It's like, look, we don't know who Randy Baker is either, so we're just going to talk about the other Baker we know, Buddy.
You got Davy Johnson there.
Pretty much a nobody.
Billy Standridge.
Stood on pit road and didn't win any races. Even when he was out on the racetrack, he didn't win.
Well, that's a bad crash, right?
Ooh, that can't be the Michael Waltrip wreck.
It's the Kool-Aid car.
Who is the driver that? Because there was a really bad wreck where the guy just walked out of the front of his car, but he was fine.
Oh, it
was Michael Waltrip.
Yep, it was Michael Waltrip's wreck.
Yeah, and he just got out of the front of because the front of the car was completely ripped off. He just got out of the front of the car and walked away. Yep. It was a great moment because it's like you're just worried that somebody's dead in that car. He just gets up, walks away.
Yeah, and that was Michael Waltrip. He drove in the Winston Cup the next day.
Yeah, no, it's like it was such a good thing to see him just walk away from that. But it's also one of those badass moments where you go, and man was in a wreck that tore a car in half, and he just walks out of it.
Right, Jack Ingram. Got well, that's a cool picture too. I like that. All the cars.
Look at the car that's in first.
I know, it's a Slim Fast car. It was slim and fast.
I love it. You don't get a Slim Fast sponsorship anymore.
No. Let's see. You got the Talladega. Number 9 race. You got Earnhardt winning Phoenix. Obviously, he was quite often the guy winning the races. So, hey, there's Darrell.
There's DW. I was saying, we haven't gotten a Darrell Waltrip. There he is.
And we did it on the last pack. Everything is complete.
Yep, 3-time champion Darrell Waltrip. Oh, there's another good one.
Yeah,
2-time champion Dale Jarrett.
Yeah, look at that. Last pack magic, they call that, Randy. We did all right. We got Larry Pearson.
You know what? He was one of my. He used to drive the Chattanooga Chew number 21 in the Busch series. He was the son of David Pearson. I always rooted for Larry. He won championships at the Busch level, but he was never very good at the Cup level.
Yeah, he had two top tens,
But his dad was a legend. Period.
and that's who we're going to end on is Harry Melling.
With the aviators on or something like aviators.
Yeah, something like that. But you know what? We're not going to end on that. You know why? Because we're going to end on J.D. McDuffie. I feel like that's got to be like the like if you were going to have an emblem for for the channel, that should be it right there.
Yeah. Just JD McDuffie sitting in his car chewing on a cigar. I love it.
It's such a great picture.
That could only be done in the early 90s because I think that after some time they banned smoking on pit road or on pit lane or anywhere. You can't smoke anywhere down in the infield.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Makes sense to me too, but not to old JD. He just didn't care. Yes. JD says, I got the goggles on, ready to race, but I got to smoke a cigar first.
Yep. All right. Well, that was a lot of cards. We got a lot of repeats, but it was a fun set. I was surprised, pleasantly surprised. That was a fun run through. We got to see a lot of different faces, and we got to see JD McDuffie.
Yep.
And
got to see Dick Trickle.
Got to see Dick Trickle. A lot of Dale Earnhardt, which is nice. That's what you want to see, and one of those. So that'll round out the show for today. Next week, obviously this is a holiday week. We got Christmas this week and all that good stuff. We've got, I think, a totally different pack again next week. We are straying away from baseball at this moment. We'll make it back around. But we're going for Garbage Pail Kids next week. So that should be fun. I don't know if you ever got into...
I haven't opened up a pack of Garbage Pail Kids in such a long time.
Well, it'll be interesting to see because I never really got into Garbage Pail Kids, so I don't know much about it. We'll have to check it out and see how it plays out, but it should at least be comical at best.
Yeah, it should. It should at least. Now, is Kirk going to be joining us for that one?
Oh yeah, Kirk will be back joining us for Garbage Pail Kids. He was a collector of those back in his day, so he was interested in coming on to see how they've changed because this is a 2022 Garbage Pail Kids, so it's an updated version, Topps Chrome, which is updated and shiny. So it'd be interesting.
It'll be interesting. I remember those cards were low res, man, back in the day. Those were not high quality cards. But it's like I used to collect them when I was a kid, so they were still fun. We just had to have. We tried to get every one of them too.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a fun set. We've got more baseball coming. I'm hoping everything goes well. 2008 should be one of the next baseball boxes we do. That was for us going to be a good one because it's the year that the Rockies actually made it to the World Series, got swept, but we can talk about that more later. It'll be a fun one for us to talk about.
Yep.
And so we'll keep that going. We also have another set from 1993 called Plasm Zero. I don't really know much about it, but it was a cheap box, and I said, why not?
Yeah. Let's just see what this is all about.
Yeah. So, perfect. Well, I hope everybody out there has a wonderful Christmas. We did our holiday episode last week. This one was a little more fun with the racing. I think we're going to probably have to do another racing set because this one was a lot of fun. So I'll get on the hunt for some more racing, maybe push it into the closer to 2000 era so that we can start seeing the Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart, those get in there because they were a little more my speed. 1991 was not my racing years, but if we get into the late 90s, mid 90s, when I really started paying attention to it. And should be fun, so I'll keep an eye out for one of those boxes. We'll get back to baseball real soon. Maybe even a little more football. I got a lot in the works at this moment because I'm having fun with it, and cards are fun, hence why we're doing a show. So,
yep.
Well, thanks, Randy, for joining me.
It's just fun to open all these things, man.
Oh, yeah, just nostalgia. Just thinking about all these guys and takes you back to that year and where you were at. Well, thanks for joining me again this week, Randy. Next week, like I said, we'll do before the new year. We'll get in some garbage pail kits because why not? And hopefully everybody does have a great holiday week. Enjoy, eat some good food, open up some presents, and watch your kids just run out. Basically discombobulate. So perfect. Well. We will see everybody next week. Thanks for watching, and looking forward to Garbage Pail Kids with Kirk. Have a great day.